Thank you all and welcome to this really superb group of both partners, longtime and new. The incredible staff that we are privileged to work with. And thank you for taking time out of your day here today. I'm going to make a quick introduction and then turn the discussion over to Lauren and Carolina. And then once we're completed the formal part, we'll come back and try and address any questions or discussion points that you may have. So let me just quickly start. This is a dynamic and a turbulent time, that we're all facing and our communities are facing. And if you are really anything like me, every day brims early with a lot of hope and optimism, but clashes with anxiety, the occasional resentment, and sometimes turns into a pretty dark mood. One of the reasons for that is as we look around in our community, inequality in many ways becomes more and more evident to us every single day. And philanthropy in general and organizations like SVP face a challenge like we never have before. What can we do to really most effectively support the many, many legions of social enterprises to meet the ever-increasing needs of their communities? And what do we have to consider doing to meet these challenges? And over the last months, even stretching back more than a year, we've worked a process to make a choice to enable us to really rise to this occasion, to support even more kids' access to preschool faster and more broadly than we've been able to do before. We've committed to test new ways to do this that really power up the community leaders who know the problems and really best know the likely solutions, and to really try to test and scale new pathways that show promise. And through this, we've committed to consistently embrace the principles of racial and social justice practices within SVP, but also across all of the touch points that we have in our community. So we've demonstrated success with our unique approach, which is really powered by you, our partners and our staff, with the experience, the skills, the investments, and the networks and influence that you all have. There's no question that that works. The task that we're facing right now, though, is how do we unleash this many times over, or risk missing the impact that the community needs, or perhaps even worse, dwindling into irrelevance, as an organization in our community. Today, we're going to try and share more detail about our plans. It will still be at a high level. Some of you, I know, are curious about the details, and we're happy to provide more opportunities to dig deeper. But these plans are different. They're big, they're ambitious. Sometimes they're even a bit scary. But importantly, we believe they're well-founded, in the research we've done on best practices and recent social enterprise experience. And as Carolina will tell you a little bit later, they're already underway. So SVP has never been afraid of a challenge, of taking on smart risk, and bravely seeking to test new approaches. I am very confident that we'll push out the boundaries of what's powerful and what's possible, but I'm also equally sure that we'll make a few mistakes and a few turns that we have to reconsider and rethink how we approach them. But the bottom line is now is the moment. We have to change. It's on us. It's on all of us to give it a shot, and our kids and their families more than ever before are counting on us to do that. So consider this an invitation to join us, bringing your energy, your talent, and your access to resources, and helping us try to make this happen together. Thank you. I'll turn it over to you, Lauren.
Great, thanks, Bob. So can everyone see the PowerPoint? Success, great. So Bob just set us up. I'm gonna take just a few minutes to share a bit about the path forward, then hand it to my colleague Carolina, who's gonna go a little bit deeper on our community impact work, some things that are underway as well as where we're headed, and then she'll pass it back to me, and I'll talk about new needs and opportunities moving forward. If you have questions that arise throughout our presentation, feel free to put them in the chat. We'll wait to the end to answer them, or feel free to save them to the period of time we're dedicating to actual Q&A, and we'll have a conversation before we wrap at noon. So with that, go ahead, Polly. All right. So most of you know that in 2022 at SVP, we recommitted to our focus goal of making universal preschool a reality for our kids. And in particular, prioritizing the kids and the families who face the greatest number of barriers to accessing preschool. So while we secured public financing needed, which was a significant win in 2020, as a community, we're building this from the ground up. So we know that significant efforts and resources are needed to create ample preschool seats, a qualified and diverse early childhood workforce, as well as preschool classrooms. Polly, can you shift? Thank you. We have been told again and again that SVP is a key player in realizing the goal of universal preschool, given our unique catalyst, capacity building, convening, and influencing roles. While we still have a long ways to go, given this slide, you can see the gaps that exist. I also want to highlight and celebrate how much progress we've actually made as a community. Preschool for All is serving 2,200 kids this year, which is up from 728. And that's quite remarkable given the devastating impact of COVID-19 on the early childhood sector. So we're certainly trending in the right direction. Polly? This goal is no minor undertaking, and we aren't delusional in thinking that it will be easy, as Bob said. Therefore, we want to make sure that SVP is a thriving and sustainable organization and also maximizing the use of our resources. So last year at this meeting, I shared that we were launching a team of staff and partners, and led by our Encore Fellow, Scott Overson, who's with us today, focused on fundamentally reevaluating our business model. So we recognized the scale of the problem of preschool access and SVP's transformative impact, but limited reach currently. And we asked ourselves, what would it take to have 3 to 5 times the impact that we do today? So the team completed a landscape assessment and analysis through research on data and trends and philanthropy, local interviews with institutional funders and philanthropic leaders, as well as interviews with probably half a dozen SVP leaders of the affiliates that are most similar to SVP Portland and have demonstrated growth in impact and influence. I'm not going to dive into all of our findings today, but we'll focus on some key implications for SVP Portland. And I'd say the headline is that we're well positioned to build upon our successes to date, as well as recent learnings. And we need to evolve our business model in strategic ways in order to amplify our impact. I'd say if we don't, we risk becoming irrelevant and failing to achieve our goal. So what do we need to do to accelerate our impact at SVP Portland? I'm going to kind of lay out three broad areas that we're focused on. The first is that we need to invest in SVP's capacity and some core capabilities in order to grow and strengthen in several critical areas. And these include branding, messaging, marketing, our tech stack, impact evaluation and metrics, our DEI work, and change management. The second is that we need to increase and diversify our resource development. Based on the Dynamic Team's research, we believe the opportunity really is kind of threefold. And the first is for SVP to move away from our predominant reliance on partner giving and shift to increasing major gifts as well as foundation grants. The second is to enhance our investor partner experience. And the third is to evolve our current partnership model in order to increase the availability and diversity of skills and lived experience needed. So all of this will take an investment ahead of growth in 2025. And then the third area is we need to expand our community engagement and impact. And so this includes delivering on our current commitments to community partners, which is actually the largest portfolio we've ever managed as of last month in SVP's history. Additionally, we're pursuing some innovative models to deliver our capacity building with greater efficiency. One example being our new cohort, specifically designed to help preschool providers scale their impact. And another is that we're seeking synergies across our portfolio in some new ways. And Carolina is going to speak to all of this in a second. So I'd say ultimately, the opportunity is for SVP to play a more significant leadership role as a community convener and collaborator and influencer in what philanthropy looks like, how we operate, and what outcomes we're working towards. So here's a visual depicting, with increased resources through the number of partners, grants, and major donors, we will be able to increase the number of community partners and cohort participants positioned to scale their preschool programs, as well as SVP's role as a catalyst for community collaboration, driving towards seats at scale, workforce, and facilities solutions. So why does this matter? Our eye is on the prize of achieving universal preschool and in a new way that ensures the most marginalized kids aren't left behind. And I'd say the broader opportunity is really to catalyze change that will be sustainable by growing trust-based, outcome-focused, and equity-driven philanthropy. So with that, I'm going to pass to my colleague, Carolina.
Thank you, Lauren. Well, as we learned through the landscape analysis that Lauren was referencing, and what we know about the scale of the problem, and also our unique value proposition, which is what I call the SVP secret sauce, we recognize that there's a healthy tension that gives us opportunities to expand and deepen our impact. So as we see in this graph, the portfolio has grown significantly, and there's a lot of innovation. There's our secret sauce that also needs to grow. If we could pack it and scale it, and if it were that simple, we would have already done it. And we have our ambitious goal, of course. So the more we can grow our secret sauce and our portfolio, our opportunity for impact would also grow. We have in our portfolio's growth a lot of intention and interest, from organizations to partner with SVP. We had a very robust pipeline and several organizations that have been interested in partnering with us. So the demand is there. In the last 20 years, we've recognized that what we do works, and there is a need and also an interest in that. Next slide, please. So in 2023, we started the year with 6 organizations in our portfolio and 4 initiatives. And we had a pipeline of 11 interested organizations. A year later, in September, this last September of 2024, our portfolio grew to 13 organizations and 4 initiatives. And by the end of this year, we will expect to close the year with 18 organizations and 3 initiatives. So that's a really important exponential growth. And in the last year, because of this interest and from our community partners, in the last year, we've been curious about how to offer capacity building opportunities to more social enterprises. And we believe that in order to increase and deepen our impact, we also need to increase more than just the number of partners. So we can't just recruit 80 or 100 partners all at once, but also we need to evolve the ways in which we partner. Just as we leverage our partners' dollars and connections, we can also leverage our community partners' resources, strengths, and ability to build community. An example of this was our Building Together meeting that was sparked by lead partner Steve Macer, where we convened current and former community partners to ask about successes and challenges with opening new facilities and the use of public funds. And at the end of the meeting, many providers expressed the desire to continue convening, collaborating, and creating a collective voice. This led us to consider the potential to leverage the power of a group, but also with a smaller partner intervention. Next slide. So for this reason, some of what we're testing includes community partners groupings or mini cohorts of 2 similar organizations under one lead partner. So this is an example of how we categorized for the first time, we assessed our pipeline, all of the 7 organizations in our pipeline at the same time. And the PMT proposed to make a decision based on groups or categories. This would create mini cohorts, if you will, with one community partner, one lead partner for 2 organizations that are similar in some way. For example, we have category A that are early investment or pre-seed organizations, or category B, which are wraparound organizations that want to start a preschool component. And then we have category C that are mature social enterprises that are wanting to scale. And we have a Amanecer Academy that kind of matches with a current community partner, which is Escuela Viva. And then we have category D, and we don't have a group there yet, but we have Kairos PDX, who is focusing on developing workforce and piloting a program there. So this type of grouping that PMT implemented to make investment decisions is facilitating a little bit of more of an efficient use of our partners' time, and we're testing. Another thing, or another test that we're running is the Ready to Grow cohort, as Lauren mentioned, where multiple pre-K providers that are ready to scale, that have been running successful preschools for some time and are ready or curious to scale will get together and leverage that knowledge, community, and connections that they already have. But also we will have partner engagement, but in a smaller doses. We will have partners offering expertise in certain aspects of scaling a business, and also partners who will engage one-on-one with 2 or 3 of these providers as they build their business plan to scale. So we have also found that this cohort that we're testing is not only able to support more organizations to scale preschool seats, but is also filling a gap in the community that has not been addressed in the past, which is support the business scaling aspect versus creating new startups. So this is a long-term need in our community. So for 20 years, we've learned that what we do works. We continue to do better every time. And this is another time, another iteration where SVP is called by ambition to be creative and innovative once again. So we want you to join us in this adventure, and thank you for already joining us in this adventure. Back to Lauren.
Thank you.
And I'm not sure if anyone's monitoring the chat, but Doug got a question in the chat around the SVP's secret sauce. Carolina, maybe you could elaborate. What do you mean by the secret sauce?
Yeah, so we talked to some of our lead partners and doing a little bit of a back historical assessment of what has worked and what is our partners' feedback. But part of the secret sauce of SVP is the lead partner role, and building a multi-year trusting relationships with lead partners has been a part of our secret sauce. So what we're trying to do is, how can we create more lead partners and continue to build trusting relationships, but maybe not all in the same model that we used to have, or we will continue to have, but it's like creating teams of 5 partners working with one organization for multiple years. Can we have one partner working with several organizations, still multiple years and or build trust in a different way. So those are the things that we're testing now.
I would just add to that, Carolina, Doug, in terms like at a kind of the highest level, our secret sauce, being the unique combination of our resources, right? So the capacity building work Carolina just described, that's really facilitated by the lead partner and our partners in a very relational way. But the capacity building and that focus, combined with the general operating, the multi-year general operating grants that we provide, as well as our network, right? The social capital of SVP, and really leveraging our power, voice, privilege, influence, connections, to bring additional resources to our community partners, kind of individually as organizations, but also collectively. So great. So I'll finish. This is my last slide, and then we'll shift to our Q&A and discussion. Just want to acknowledge that we have an ambitious goal, but SVP has always been ambitious in the goals that we set, and we've demonstrated success in pursuing ambitious goals. So I think, and Bob mentioned earlier, he thinks that we're ready for this challenge, and I'm optimistic that we're well positioned to evolve our business model. We also have a call to action for our partners. So to begin with full transparency, our financial health update is that we're in a strong cash position, but we're also far behind our revenue goals for this year. We have seen a decrease in the average gift size to SVP Portland after we shifted away from the minimum $5,000 donation per person, in order to be more inclusive as an organization. So while we're working to further diversify our revenue streams and rely more heavily on major donors and foundation support moving forward, right now we're reliant on our partners for the majority of our funding. So at this moment, we're asking partners to lean in and consider making an additional investment in SVP before the end of the year. And I would say, because we love leverage at SVP, we do have an SVP partner that has offered a matching challenge grant and will match all gifts dollar for dollar up to $25,000 total between now and December 31st. So if you're interested in that sort of leverage, please talk to me or Ursula. The second is we have many opportunities for engaging with the largest portfolio of community partners that we've ever had. So this means we're actively recruiting for more partners so that we're positioned to fill all of the capacity building roles. If you know talented professionals in your network who you think might be interested in SVP's model of skills-based volunteerism, Ursula would love to speak with them. So feel free to reach out to her. And then finally, I'd say as venture philanthropists, we're eager to embrace challenge, to continuously learn, and to operate with an entrepreneurial mindset. We're going through a lot of change as we work towards an ambitious goal, and we recognize that audacity combined with change can be uncomfortable. We also know that we're nothing without our partners who have varied needs for understanding the details of what we're doing and why. Therefore, for those of you who wish to be more deeply informed, and Bob mentioned this earlier earlier as well, we invite you to reach out to your peers on the board and to staff so we can hear your questions and feedback and go a bit deeper in the plan, since we're at a pretty high level today. But we really do seek to lead with transparency around where we're headed, how we're getting there, and why. And then I just close with, if you're here today, you're clearly invested in SVP. So thank you. And your voice is powerful. So we also ask for your help in supporting your peers at SVP to stay curious, to stay connected with staff and with board, and to roll up their sleeves and get involved. So that is it for our formal presentation. And now we will shift to questions and conversation.